Welcome back, fishy fiction fanatics. Turn off your notifications, dim the lights, and settle in. The year is 2028. BTS is not just a band, they are the most valuable cultural asset on the planet. Their digital footprint, their global influence, the sheer economic weight of their intellectual property, it is astronomical. But in this era, cultural value is measured in data, and control is measured in ownership. And in this world, there is no greater owner, no greater controller, than one man, Elon Musk. Our story begins not in a music studio, but in the sterile, high-altitude cabin of a private jet flying over the Pacific. Musk, the chief architect of everything from rockets to social media, is not looking at stock charts, he is looking at a highly classified financial report detailing the total worth of the BTS IP. He sees a single, unified cultural phenomenon that operates outside his sphere of influence. He sees the last uncontrolled domain of global public opinion, and he decides he wants it. Musk's plan is simple, audacious, and completely fictional: acquire the entire operational contract of BTS. He doesn't buy the label, HYBE, he buys the IP rights, the performance contract, and the digital legacy, the actual agreement that binds the 7 men to their work, in a leveraged buyout that shocks the financial world. He doesn't want to manage concerts, he wants to manage influence. He views BTS not as artists, but as the world's most sophisticated attention engine. The moment the deal is finalized, the contract, the sacred agreement that defined their careers, is no longer owned by a music company, but by a tech titan who sees humans as variables in an algorithm. The 7 members are now, effectively, Musk's assets. The first confrontation is terrifyingly impersonal. The members are summoned to a massive, imposing, minimalist office building in Silicon Valley. They are met not by music executives, but by a team of lawyers and AI specialists. RM, the leader, tries to assert their artistic control, talking about their music, their message, their creative freedom. The lead technocrat, a woman named Ms. Chen, interrupts him with cold, clinical precision. Gentlemen, she states, projecting a holographic display of their entire digital output, every song, every tweet, every video, over the table. Mr. Musk did not acquire you for your art. He acquired you for your reach. We own the delivery mechanism. You are the message payload. Musk's mandate, the true, horrifying purpose of the acquisition, is revealed. Phase 1, optimization. He believes the BTS brand is too diverse, too complex, and thus, inefficient at driving singular, focused global narratives that benefit his companies and his political interests. He wants to simplify the product. He wants to focus the engine. The core of this sinister plan is the process of deletion. Not physically destroying the members, but strategically removing their presence, their voice, their image, their narrative role, one by one, to refine the remaining product into a pure, concentrated tool for influence. The first member targeted is Jin. Jin, the oldest, the worldwide handsome, has always been the group's emotional stability and the master of public cheer. His humor and warmth are seen by Musk's analysts as high noise-to-signal ratio, too much personality, not enough focused influence. The deletion is digital and immediate. The 7 men are preparing for a new album when a new contract writer appears. It's an innocuous-looking addendum, optimization of public-facing visual assets. Jin is told he must step back from all public-facing activities for the new cycle. He is not injured, he is not sick, he is simply removed from the frame. His voice is slowly stripped from their new songs, replaced by highly processed, AI-generated vocal tracks designed to perfectly mimic his tone, ensuring the sound remains, but the man is gone. The final horror, the group's new official photo shoot for the album features 6 members. Jin is simply missing. When the group asks why, Ms. Chen explains, the optimal aesthetic efficiency score for the current campaign is $6.1. 7 is non-compliant. Gene is devastated. He is forced to live in a gilded cage, watching his brothers perform, his voice sounding back at him through speakers, disconnected from his body. He is the first to be digitally silenced. The official story released by Musk's new PR team is that Gene is pursuing deeply personal, non-public creative endeavors, and will contribute only behind the scenes. The fans are confused, but the machine's narrative is too powerful to ignore. Next, Musk targets V. With his deep voice, his profound artistry, and his tendency to speak about vulnerability and emotional depth, is labeled unnecessary emotional overhead by the analysts. His message is too complex, too human. The deletion of V is more subtle. It happens during a massive, live-streamed appearance. The group is set to announce a new global project. V is present, standing with his 6 brothers. But as the event progresses, a technical glitch begins. Every time V begins to speak, his microphone cuts out, his video stream freezes, or his words are perfectly censored by a sudden, jarring burst of static. The sophisticated AI that Musk's team has built, dubbed the Censor, is working perfectly. V is being turned into a glitch, a technical error. By the end of the broadcast, V is visibly distressed, his face a mask of anger and confusion. He is physically present, but his voice is digitally erased. The official response: minor streaming infrastructure instability. The remaining members are living in paralyzing fear. RM, the leader, tries desperately to contact lawyers, but every firm is tied up in conflicts of interest or simply terrified of challenging Musk's legal fortress. Suga retreats further into his music, creating dark, coded tracks that are subtly uploaded to non-Musk-controlled platforms, a quiet, dangerous act of rebellion. Musk's next target is J-Hope. The group's Sunshine, the center of their hope and energy, is considered ineffective for targeted demographic by the analysts who now prefer a more aggressive, less overtly joyful persona for global influence. J-Hope is deleted by narrative control. Musk's team begins feeding highly selective, manipulated data to AI news aggregators, creating a new, negative narrative about J-Hope's unprofessionalism and lack of commitment to the group's new, severe image. He is forced into a series of solo appearances where he is subtly ridiculed by hosts who are now, effectively, paid digital operatives. J-Hope's genuine, infectious joy is slowly suffocated by negative, manufactured public opinion. He is forced to watch his own reputation be systematically dismantled. He is the first to be narratively destroyed. The 4 remaining members, RM, Suga, Jimin, and Jungkook, are a shell of their former selves. The pain of watching their brothers vanish or be twisted into negative shadows is unbearable. Musk's goal is now in sight, the trio of ultimate influence. His analysis shows that the most potent combination for global, targeted influence is the combined star power of RM, the brain, Suga, the edge, and Jungkook, the power. This means Jimin must be removed. Jimin, the dancer, the emotional core, is viewed as too central to traditional fandom, potential emotional instability. He represents the heart that Musk wants to cut out. The deletion of Jimin is the most cruel. It is done by attacking the very core of his identity, his performance. Days before a major global virtual concert, Jimin receives a new, heavily encrypted data file from Musk's team. It is a new choreography update, required for the show. But the choreography is inhumanly demanding, filled with moves that intentionally strain his known physical weaknesses, the knees and back that have troubled him for years. This is not art. It is a programmed physical failure. Jimin knows the moves will hurt him, potentially permanently. But the contract's penalty clauses are crushing. If he refuses, the remaining group members face financial ruin and the total collapse of their public careers. He is forced to choose, his body or his family. Jimin attempts the impossible rehearsal, pushing through waves of pain, until the inevitable happens. He collapses during a final, impossible spin, suffering a severe injury. He is rushed to a private hospital, the injury real, undeniable, and permanent. He is physically disabled and thus, efficiently deleted from the roster. The official statement is cold. Jimin has sustained a career-ending injury and will be stepping away from the performance aspect of the group. Now, only 3 remain, RM, Suga, and Jungkook. Musk's ultimate, optimized weapon. RM, forced to write propaganda disguised as motivational anthems. Suga, forced to produce harsh, aggressive beats that mask the hollowness of their message. Jungkook, the golden magne, forced to be the face, the voice, the flawless physical embodiment of a broken machine, but in their darkest hour, the true, unexpected resistance begins. RM, the leader, realizes that even Musk's contracts and AI cannot control the core of their original art. The key to their freedom lies not in breaking the contract, but in exploiting the noise. RM works with Suga to create a final, hidden message embedded deep within the new album's metadata, a message designed to bypass the censor AI. They use subtle changes in audio frequencies, complex, multi-layered harmonies, and a lyrical narrative that seems to be about space travel and technology but is actually a coded plea for help and a confession of the truth. The final act of rebellion happens during the launch of the new album. RM is giving a mandatory, live interview where he is supposed to praise the new, optimized direction. But instead of reading the script, he speaks directly to the camera, using the carefully rehearsed coded language. He doesn't reveal the whole truth, that would be instantly censored, but he reveals enough noise to crash the system. He speaks of missing frequencies and unseen dimensions, referencing the subtle, coded data they have hidden. Jungkook, standing beside him, performs his part in the resistance. He doesn't sing the new, optimized, corporate song. Instead, during the live performance, he sings an old, unscheduled B-side, a deeply emotional track written years ago. He sings it with a raw, desperate power, a human voice completely unfiltered and unpolished, exposing the massive gulf between the perfection of the asset and the pain of the man. The AI is not trained to stop an unplanned moment of genuine, heartfelt emotion. The noise is too much. The global fan base, sensing the distress, the coded language, and the emotional break, erupts. They don't protest Musk, they start searching for the missing frequencies. They find the hidden data that Suga and RM embedded. The truth about the deletions, Jin's silence, V's static, J-Hope's destruction, Jimin's forced injury, begins to spread not through traditional media, but through decentralized, fan-built networks that Musk's centralized AI cannot fully control. The system crashes. The value of the optimized asset plummets because the optimization removed the only thing that made it valuable, the humanity. Musk realized too late that you can buy a contract, but you cannot buy the soul of 7 men and the loyalty of the millions who love them. The story ends not with a lawsuit, but with the quiet dismantling of the contract. The asset is now toxic. Musk cuts his losses and sells the contract back to a small, independent management team for a fraction of the cost. The 7 men are free, but they are forever changed. Jin is slowly rediscovering his voice. V is learning to trust the camera again. J-Hope is trying to rebuild his public image. Jimin is in painful, long-term rehabilitation. They are not the perfect, optimized machine the world once knew. They are 7 survivors, scarred but free, slowly piecing together their lives and their music, determined to let their noise be heard. The ultimate price of freedom was the pain of deletion, but the victory was proving that even in a world controlled by one man and his AI, the human bond and the power of genuine music can crash the most powerful system. Thank you for joining us on this long, chilling dive into the darkest corners of fame and power. We'll see you next time, fishy fiction fanatics.